Hello, everybody. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Noel Church. I'm nephew of Aunt Bev, and from Tennessee, if you didn't guess. I'm not much of a eulogy guy. I just wanted to say a few things. Of course, I came up a couple weeks ago when Aunt Bev was still able to recognize people and stuff, and we spent a couple of days in the living in the living room with her. Those aren't the happiest times, but it's times you wouldn't miss. But I think back through all the years I've been in that living room, in the kitchen. I mean, from the time I was just a little rugrat, and the Coon sisters and what they were to me. Of course, I was here about a year and a half ago for Aunt Lane's service too. I cried then too. But people mean something to you. It's hard to really express it and not lose it. But regardless, we were sitting in the living room a couple of Saturdays ago, and I was listening. Of course, Uncle Lenny was talking, and he was talking about Aunt Bev, and he was remembering back when they got married. He said, when we got married, he said, I thought I could change her. I sat there and I thought, well, how did that go? But you couldn't have changed Aunt Bev, She was like granite. You couldn't have chiseled her into anything that you wanted her to be or look like. She was Aunt Bev, and that's how she was going to be. And she got it honest. And that's okay. I read quite a bit, and the book I'm reading right now is Bing Crosby's autobiography. And he wrote it in 1953. He was about 50 years old, and he was looking back over his life, and he's telling all these stories, but his stories come from people who'd been in his life. And he stops about halfway through the book, and he says, this book is supposed to be about me, but he said, I can't write it that way. And that made me think, that's the way life is. Your life is just a blank coloring book page, and you can't color it by yourself. You just you can't tell your life story and it's all about you, because your life story is not about you. It's about the people you interact with, your friends and your family, the people you work with, and there's colors. I I've always noticed that people, when I see them or get to know them, they remind me or make me feel colors about them. Just whether they're a happy person or an ill person, a mean person, dark, light colors. But it's kind of like the crayons we used to get. If you had the 64 box, you were the luckiest kid on the block with the sharpener in the back. And I've always had so many colors in my box. She was one of the more colorful crayons in my box. But you don't color your own page. Everybody colors it for you, and we rub off on each other. I mean, you end up being part of Aunt Bev or Aunt Lane or my mom or my grandparents, whoever, and we color each other's lives. And I'm glad that she was coloring mine. She rubbed all over me. We fought each other. We never really fought, but we just aggravated each other's eyes out, and that's just how we did. I mean, I guess one of the last things I said to her, I don't know how many people know the story about the day she went to get shoes when they were growing up, and her feet were larger than most women's, and they couldn't. The guy, the poor shoe salesman, I had to feel sorry for him because he didn't have any shoes to fit her, and he finally come out and said, "I've got some shoe boxes back here." And she never lived that down, and that was one of the last things I said to her, I guess, is when you get up there and they're handing your robe and your wings and your halo, they're not going to have your size and sandals. Just be ready for that. So, but we love that. And, I don't think I ever had an ill word. She never had an ill word with me. We always enjoyed aggravating each other. And that was our life, really. And it never changed, no matter if I was 50, and she was 70, or when I was 10. It didn't matter. That's just who we were. And I think that's kind of how we should be with each other. If you ever stop and think about your autobiography, if you want to write your life story, how would you do it? And I mean, your life is what you do for other people. If you have a fulfilling life, then you do for other people. Your life is not about you. Your life is not given to you for you to enjoy all the time. You shouldn't be going around trying to seek your own happiness all the time, because you'll never find it. It can't be found, no matter what you do, what you buy. But the stuff that you do for other people, how you interact with them, do stuff for them that maybe they don't even know, or maybe you just, you have somebody that you've got somebody that you have a relationship like I have with Aunt Bev with. I didn't have to get her anything, but if I could jab her some way or gig her somehow, we'd laugh, and that was it. And that's really the secret of life, is it's to be shared, and you can't be your own little island. So Aunt Bev wasn't. She was. That's something else. Last night we were all together, and I heard Uncle Lenny say, just remark on how quiet the house was now, and he said that Bev was always so loud. Yeah, she was pretty loud. She brought atmosphere wherever she went. She was the life. She brought atmosphere to the room. She was always smiling, cutting up, and laughing. And that was just, she was. You just got what you got with Aunt Bev. She didn't try to be anybody else but herself, and that's it, really. I mean, that's all you can do. But she's going to be missed. I miss her. When you lose those parts of your life, it leaves a empty space. But something I've learned from a young age, when those when those empty spaces come up, and you're missing that influence in your life, well, you've learned from her or whoever that would have been. So you need to take that influence that you learned and do that for somebody else. You be somebody else's Aunt Bev. You be somebody else's Aunt Lane. You, whatever. But you be somebody to somebody else, and color somebody else's life, and make their life better.
Hello, everyone in Buffalo. I hope everyone's doing well. My name's Andrew. Beverly was my aunt, my great aunt, and I just wanted to say a couple of words about what she meant to me, but also all of us, and maybe hear from God as to what to hope for and hope in during times like this when we feel distressed or at a loss, because all of us have this week, especially just a deep sense of loss, because Aunt Bev is no longer with us. So when I think of Aunt Bev, I think of originally when I was a kid growing up, especially our Tennessee families. I think I speak of a lot for a lot of my cousins when we look at Aunt Bev. From the three sisters, my grandmother, Aunt Lane, and Aunt Bev. Aunt Bev was the badass. Just cool, mysteriously cool. I remember when my cousin Josh and Brandon and I would hang out in Buffalo, but also just when Aunt Bev and everyone would come down and visit in Tennessee, I think she was so cool. And when we were up in Buffalo a couple years ago, just looking at pictures of her, her life must have been so at times carefree and fun. She was always one to laugh or joke or just, lighten the mood. And we're going to miss that personality. It was pure fire. And when I say fire, I mean good fire, just the ability to take control of a room with humor, we're going to miss. And I know I will. Even later in her life, just the things that she would say. On my wedding day on Facebook, we became big Facebook friends, but on my wedding day, and when Jamie and I got married, there was a picture that was taken with one of my youth group kids when I was a pastor in a church, and she actually thought that was Jamie, the 16-year-old girl. She two look so cute together. Congratulations. And I had to be the one to break it to her that really wasn't my wife. That was a girl from my youth group, which was hilarious. But that was all the time, just to try to explain to people who my Aunt Bev was so fun, just because you never know what was going to happen. It was just spontaneity and fun all the time, and we would always get so many laughs. There was the time on Facebook where she would always comment on my pictures. Doesn't matter what picture it was, what post it was, she always had something to say about any comment. And I loved it. She made me feel like a celebrity, because she just always would spend time in the mornings on Facebook just talking to me and reaching out, even though we were 12 hours away. And people would see that in my family or my friends, and they would say, "Who is your Aunt Bev?" And I would just get to tell them about this wonderful woman who loved me so much and who cared and who always checked in on me at all stages of my life. If I was in college or if I was in my professional career or whatever it was, just she was so proud of me. And it was really cool to have someone that emotionally invested in you, and to imagine what she would be like as a mother or an aunt, Aunt Beezy, as Kevin called her, was just so powerful. And I just reflect on her today, all that she was. She was, she was Winifred Sanderson, but she was also, a character from Grease all at the same time. There's so much fire and just humor. There's an artist that I follow that I wanted to read from, and he says this about Jesus. He says, it's easy to think of Jesus as not needing anyone, just out on a mission to save everybody. He cleared the temples, turned kingdoms upside down. He took on the religiously corrupt. Saviors don't need relationships. Aren't saviors just solo acts? But Jesus called his disciples friends. He stayed at friends' houses. He had a mom and brothers and sisters. He was fully human. Have you, being fully human, ever lived a life separate from relationships? Did you not need someone to change your diapers as a baby? Did you not take a steady hand when learning how to walk? Did you not say, Mama, look, when finishing your 14th Crayola masterpiece of the day? Did you not confide a secret to your trusted bestie? Did you not giggle until it hurt with someone at an inappropriate time? Did you not let them buy you dinner when you were low on funds? Did you not feel healed by a hug with someone who loved you, from someone who loved you? Just like every human ever, at some moment, Jesus sought a friend or a mom or a little sister for humor, compassion, nourishment, relatability, and enjoyment. For belly laughs, hugs, inside jokes, maybe even high fives. That's the way being fully human works. Did he not receive nourishment as a baby? Did he not live in a house that his parents provided? Did he not wear clothes that others have meticulously woven? Did he not learn to read from attentive teachers? Did he not learn a trade so that he could make a living? Did he not join his voice to the chorus of singing? Did he not know the joy of having friends? Jesus' incarnation is participating in the same dynamics we all participate in, which no one who is fully human is an island, and we need each other to be fully human. Just as Jesus needed his mom and his sisters and his friends, we needed Bev. Bev was the person who changed our diapers, who gave us belly laughs, like the one where she was sick and throwing up and threw her dentures up in the toilet. And I think Mark or somebody had to take the toilet out in the yard and fish the dentures out. That's her life. It was a joy, an absolute joy, and it was fully human. And we were all a part of it. We're going to miss him, Bev. And I don't know anyone else who was fully human, who just kept defending us and supporting us. It didn't matter if it was her grandchildren, who she was always there for Amy or for Mark, for Kevin. She loved us all harder and stronger than anyone probably even knows. And that's who she was. She was just this ball of fire who loved Lenny, who loved all of us just so well. And I think all of us around this room, and I know me and my family, have learned a lot from a very strong woman on how to love people and how to serve people and cook for people like Aunt Meatball. And just invite people around and have them around the table, no matter who they are, where they're from. Loving and supporting people. That was Aunt Bev. Let's do the same.
Hey, tissue. Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin, if you don't know me. I'm Aunt Lane's son. And I wrote a few words. This is the part in the ceremony or the celebration where we'll soon open it up to the floor for everyone to share their memories of Aunt Bev. let me start off by saying a life well lived leaves behind a beautiful bouquet of memories. And for me, the flowers over there say beloved aunt, but they could also say friend. They could say confidant, other mother, comedian, even thief, or borrower. More on that in a minute. Throughout my life, I called her Aunt Bevy, Aunt Bev, Beverly Jean if we were being sassy with each other. And as Andrew alluded to, not Aunt Beezy, but Miss Beezy. She was one of my favorite people and one of the most wonderful I will ever know. She was full of life, feisty and fun. When she walked in a room, you knew. To me, it was like someone had turned on a light when she arrived. She had a wonderful smile and a laugh that couldn't help but elicit more laughter from others. My most loved laughs were the ones that seemed virtually uncontrollable. And I'm just going to leave that right there. If you know the Coon sisters. She had a knack for recounting stories that would quickly have all of us laughing. And I know the Liederstorf sisters can attest to that as well. And brothers, sorry. She had a way of making me feel special about myself and enriched my life beyond measure. And that's the key, the word enrichment. I want you all to remember that. She was amazingly thoughtful. She listened intently to everything I said to her. I could really tell that she cared. As a child, she patiently worked on puzzles with me. She played Old Maid and Go Fish. She took me to carnivals around town, just me and her. As I got older, she shared her video games and family recipes with me. And she taught me how to steal. And I mean borrow. Small items, usually from a restaurant. Okay, just twice. First salt and pepper shakers, and then another time a small candle holder. She'd just say, just slyly wrap it in a napkin and put it in my purse. Actually, there was a third time. We were at the Heartbreak Hotel in Memphis, and she took a vase. But, and she also kept one of my secrets, probably the most important secret of my life, close to her heart for a long time before I was ready to tell it to anybody else, except my parents, of course. As an adult, I repaid the favor to her and my mom and my Aunt Nancy, enriching their lives with experiences, usually based where I was living at the time. Shopping getaways in the South, a VIP trip to Disneyland with Amy, a Tony Bennett concert, an Aretha Franklin concert, Broadway shows, meeting Oprah Winfrey, a Memphis getaway to Graceland, a behind-the-scenes tour of the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, as I said, memories of the bouquet of life. Until her passing on July 5th, I never knew a day without her unconditional love. She was my aunt and one of my greatest friends. I am forever grateful to have walked in the light of her love. We will miss her every day for the rest of our lives, and I know that all of us will never forget her. I take comfort knowing she's with my mom and reunited with Aunt Judy and Grandma and Grandpa and other friends and family. Let us all remember her and the way she touched our lives, and her laugh, and her smile, and her spirit. In every memory, I hope we'll still feel her loving presence in the most comforting ways. Rest in peace, Miss Beezy. We will carry you forever in our hearts. We love you. So now I'm going to open it up to the floor. If anyone would like to share a memory about Bev, Miss Beezy, Aunt Bev, Cousin Bev. friend Bev, please share. And there's Debbie. I can always count on Debbie. And you can come up here. You can stand in place, but you won't be on the Zoom. You're on the Zoom now, Deb.
Okay. Ooh. Hi, I'm Debbie Kohler, Leadersdorf. Me and Bev go way back, and I'll never forget when I found out she was in labor, and I'm a maternity nurse, and she requested me to be her nurse. And I thought, oh, this ain't going to be good. No, it's not going to be good. So the first time I had to do an assessment on her, and I did everything I had to do, and I said, so now you got to roll over. She goes, what? I go, I got to check your episiotomy. She goes, well, you're my cousin. I said, but you requested me. I'll go get somebody else. That's no problem. I don't have a problem with that. She goes, well, all right, but make it quick. I go, what do you think? I'm going to take a video down here? So she goes, oh, you always bring me laughter, and when you're done looking at me, can you give me something for pain? And I said, yes. And so she rolled over, and she goes, I certainly hope I don't toot at you. And I go, well, it won't be the first time that you've done that to me. So that's one of many of the memories I have of Bev. And we went to Tennessee to see Aunt Judy, and it was just one of those driving down there, and I remember Amy with the Yahtzee, when all three of them in the backseat playing Yahtzee, and we're trying to concentrate. And then I said, I'm getting tired, and you go, you're tired. And Bev goes, well, I'll drive. I'm like, no, stick with your Yahtzee, Bev. I've heard about your driving. I said, I don't want to be in that car. So, but in other words, but I know our Lord is watching over her. In fact, my phone rang on my arm, and I'm sure it was her calling. And nice try. Thanks, Dean. And she would want everybody to remember and be happy for everybody here. And that someday, on the other side of heaven, we will all meet and we will all have laughter and love. And so hold it in your hearts that she was a loving, loving person, and she would do anything for you, even a good laugh and a joke. Bye, Bev.
Here comes David. He's gonna come through here. Oh, he's gonna get stuck.
So my name is David, and I'm a nephew on the other side of the family, the Valvo side. And this is really more for Amy and Mark, because I don't know if you knew this, but so when Aunt Beverly would come to my grandma's house, her mother-in-law, there's this kind of like this silent competition because my grandma Lena could cook. I mean, the Italian side, trust me, there was food. And like Easter time, you had the sinji, you had the cannoli, and it was great. So I'm 10 years old and were you the ring bearer at the wedding? You were. And my sister, unfortunately, she lives in Virginia, so she couldn't be here, but she was the flower girl. And I remember she was crying up but anyhow, so I was at the wedding, and I was kind of like the oldest nephew, I think. I imagine, I don't know. But anyhow, I'm about 10 years old, and for Easter, this time Aunt Beverly made the cannoli. And you know, you're 10 years old, you're honest. And I'm eating the cannoli, and I said, Aunt Beverly, this is as good as Grandma's. I didn't know what I had said, but my rank went up significantly that day. And I was told later on, you have no idea. And so Aunt Beverly really appreciated me a lot more after that. And I certainly, you know, I remember her. I would always make fun of her with her Willie Nelson concert stuff and all that kind of stuff. But she was a great lady and a great aunt and a great mom. And I will certainly do miss her. And yeah, I pray that she is with the good Lord and is in great comfort. So.
Looking around. Anyone else brave enough?
Well, judging from Kevin's talk and Andrew's and mine, and the fact that none of us made notes with each other, those were all independent thoughts, but they were all the same. That kind of lends credence to what we were saying. It's the truth. She had a favorite prayer. Her favorite prayer was the Lord's Prayer. And we'll close with that reciting of the Lord's Prayer. So, and that's everybody. So, I'll, in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Temptation, power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right, that concludes the service. Oh, that's right. I forgot.